What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Sadly, this is not a part 2 of the wide body I'm building, but we're going to be building something again because why finish one project when you can just work on another project, start it. Makes perfect sense, right? Today we're tackling an issue that is totally not needed, but I want to do it anyways. It's kind of needed for what I plan on doing soon. We're building a roof rack for the Z. So if you have a Z, you know that they don't make one. Nobody makes a roof rack for Zs. My buddy did it, kind of. He took his off of his Subaru and put it on here, like retrofit it. Kind of worked out pretty good. But they don't make these because there's no frame here. It's a frameless door. They use an A-pillar just as a separate piece from the door. So we're gonna make something ourselves. This is what we're gonna use. I've got 1.5 inch. It's only 14 gauge tubing, so it's not like heavy or anything. It's not super heavy, but it's thick enough that I'm not worried about it bending or anything stupid. This angle bar, we're gonna be using that to build basically a box cage type thing for that gas jug. And then we have this 1/8 inch plate. It's like 1.5 inch. It's gonna be our mounting bracket thing for the tube. And then I've got some hardware. So that's all we need. This in total cost me $60. We're probably gonna end up spending about, I don't know. We'll see how long this takes, but it shouldn't take too long. And I think it's gonna look cool. And it's going to end up being powder coated the same purple as the car, so that it'll just stay there even when I'm not carrying anything, and it won't look like ridiculous. Hopefully. So yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. I've never done this before. Don't use this as a how-to unless I end up telling you that this is great. But as for now, don't use this as a how-to because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I go. So the first thing that we're gonna go ahead and do is take off all of our plastic pieces. I started ripping this off and then I remembered that all you have to do is undo these little buttons and then the rest comes off. We're taking this whole plastic A-pillar off. So now we are setting our nut in there, kind of getting an idea of how we want it oriented, and started cutting up some more tube. Just kind of getting our tube in the right order. I just wanted to kind of have everything cut and in place to get an idea of where I wanted everything. Here I have the tubing just kind of laying it across, as you can see, just getting an idea of what it was going to look like, where I would need these things welded in. Once I did, as you can see, weld that nut in. So that thing is welded in there, the nut, and now we're working on our brackets to go up from it. So the A-pillar is obviously not straight up and down, but I wanted to make sure that these bars are going to be up and off the roof. That way we're not just resting the bars on the roof and scratching the paint up. So now we make these. We're going to start by drilling our holes in them, and then now we're notching them. We can't ever really notch that perfectly with the grinder, but we're doing our best. We're getting as close as we can to the right notch. So it took a little bit of finagling, but eventually we got it in there, got it all cleaned up. And this is what the notches look like here. So we have our little bend in there to give it the height that we need. And we tacked it on the car, and then now we're fully welded out. I went ahead and tacked the rear and basically did the same thing. We had to offset these forward a little bit. I didn't realize how close together I would need it to be able to set the tire on there and the tire not hit the roof of the car. So after fully welding those, I put both tires on the car to make sure I knew that I had them where I wanted them and that they were going to be in a good place. Now these are the tabs we're going to weld on just for our tie downs. I'm having to hammer these. I'm at my house. I don't really have anything else to bend these, so they're not like perfect 90-degree bends every spot, but they're good enough. And we got those welded on there. Obviously I put it back on the car. A lot of fabrication stuff is just on, off, on, off, on, off. That's what you're paying for when you pay someone to make something custom for you. But as you can see here, we are now working on our flat or angle bar. So we're using this angle bar. It's just a 90-degree bends 2x2, and we're making a box for our jerry can. All right, so I've got all these brackets made up. I made these while John, my buddy, was here, so I didn't really record it. But I've got that all made up. Got the box made up. So now it's basically a matter of all I gotta do is go get shorter bolts for these. I've got to get some hardware for this. I got to drill the holes in the bottom of that for this. Then it's basically done from there, honestly. And it's just gonna be a matter of like cleaning up anything. I really want to cap these edges closed, but I don't know what I'm gonna do it with, like material wise yet. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I want to, we'll see. Hope you guys are enjoying. Sorry for another video of just like talking over it, like voicing over it, but it's really another one of those things. Like I get so in the moment when I'm fabricating and stuff like that I don't want to vlog. I'd rather just take videos, and even then, I'm not good at it. I don't take videos of me welding. I just get like I'm slow with it. So long-winded, but basically done. Throwing it on, and then I'm gonna figure out what I want to cap this with, and I'm going to go get some shorter bolts, and then after that it's pretty much ready for powder coat. So here it is with the can all bolted on there. I made it bolt on and off, that way I could take it off and still leave just the rack on there without this giant box looking all weird on there. So I made my marks to do the scary part, which is going to be cutting into this $500 piece of plastic here. I'm thinking the way to do this really would be to make these cuts and also have a spare A-pillar that you can put on if you ever want to take the rack off. They are $500 pieces of plastic, so I don't have spares, but I don't really care that much. This one kind of messed up. I have to widen out a little bit more. Kind of went the wrong way. As you can see, we're losing daylight, but we've got some bolts now. I had to actually get some new grade 8 bolts. They're shorter and they're grade 8, so I'm just not too worried about it. Grade 8 bolts, and then I got lock washers for the bars into the A-pillars, and then I've got some grade 8 just nut and bolts for the for this piece here. So I'm gonna put everything on right now. Put the tires on, put this in there, make sure everything fits good, make sure it all will strap in, everything looks good, and then go for a drive and see if it doesn't fall off. It's dark, but I mean, come on now. Look at that. That is ridiculous. Everything is like super secure. I have to put something on this. It slides out, not easily, but maybe easily enough. This is shaking the whole car.